What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. And today we're talking the January 11th, 2021 edition of Raw Talk. This time hosted by R-Truth and filling in for Charlie Caruso, Sarah Schreiber. So I don't think they explained why Charlie wasn't there, but you can probably guess why based off all the other people that were missing from Raw this week. It was announced by WWE themselves that McIntyre contracted COVID-19, tested positive, isn't showing any symptoms, which is good. He did appear on Raw in a pre-taped promo from his home that he filmed from home. But yeah, so Charlie was missing. I would assume that has something to do with it, although I could be wrong. I mean, I hate to see her sick or gone or whatever, but Sarah Schreiber is not a natural host. She wasn't an amazing fit for this position. It really felt like she was thrust into this spot because Charlie couldn't make the show. She couldn't appear, blah, blah, blah. But Charlie just, I say it every single week, does absolutely nothing for me in the host role for this show anyway. It comes across as too scripted. And Sarah Schreiber isn't 10 times better, but it was a nice, refreshing change of pace despite the unfortunate circumstances, assuming that's why she wasn't there. But anyway, so they quickly recap the ending to Raw that saw Alexa Bliss throw a fireball in the face of Randy Orton, which I honestly thought was a cool visual. The Bray Wyatt, Orton, Alexa Bliss stuff, I'll go back and forth on. I thought when Orton threatened to light her on fire a couple weeks ago was fucking dumb, but I thought this was kind of cool. I thought the ending to the Inferno match was cool, so I didn't really mind that. They do acknowledge that McIntyre had COVID-19. They said it on Raw. They said it on WWE.com. They reiterate that here. Again, if anyone else has it, they're not going to say anything. They'll just mysteriously disappear from the show. But I guess McIntyre, because he's the top guy, they want to say something as to why he's not on the show. I have no idea. So the first guest they have on is Angel Garza, who promptly hits on Sarah Schreiber. And he is essentially not disheartened at all by his loss of the 24/7 championship, which he lost back to R-Truth last week on Raw on Legends Night. And why the fuck would he be? The title means absolutely nothing. So why the hell would he care about losing that championship that he could instantly regain in a heartbeat if he wanted to? But he does promise that he will be wearing gold, more gold, in 2021 around his waist. The next guest they have on is Nia Jax. Now, they had Shayna on her own last week, and then Nia on her own this week, which I thought was interesting. And they clearly teased tension between the two at the end of their tag team match on Raw this week when they beat Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. So Nia was in here on her own. I could not give two fucks about Nia Jax more often than not. But she actually wasn't that bad here. She was pretty serviceable. She was pretty bearable. She just didn't expect Baszler to tag in during their tag team match, make the blind tag in, and then win the match for the team. They preview the Royal Rumble saying, oh, it's every person, every man, woman for themselves, blah, blah, blah. But she says that despite their recent miscommunications, that she and Shayna remain dominant, and that they still have their eyes on the gold, that being the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. I assume Charlotte and Asuka will face Jackson Baszler in a rematch of the titles at some upcoming episode of Raw. Asuka was not on Raw this week, oddly enough, that she wasn't even mentioned, I don't think. Which is weird, because not only is she Charlotte Flair's tag team partner, she's also the Raw fucking Women's Champion. So that's a little bizarre, but hopefully when she comes back and she doesn't have anything to do with the COVID stuff, she probably does. But regardless, when she comes back, they can do that rematch of the tag team titles and then move the hell on, because Nia and Shayna just do absolutely nothing for me as a team. R-Truth asks if they're going to fight each other, and he believes that they will, which they obviously will come the Women's Rumble, no doubt about it. One of them will probably eliminate the other. And Nia simply says she doesn't turn on Baszler, but she does say that, Baszler, in those words essentially, that she can turn it on like a switch whenever she wants. Or she lost to Dana Brooke last week, but when she wants to get aggressive and intense and be the Baszler of old, the Shayna Baszler of old from her NXT days, she can. So she has faith that she can get the job done when it matters most. The last two guests they have on are the Hurt Business's MVP and Bobby Lashley. MVP shows off Riddle's blood on his suit. Riddle got busted open very quickly in his match with Bobby Lashley. I think Riddle jumped Lashley from the bell last week, so Lashley retaliated by doing the same thing to Riddle this week, and who he promptly beat in the span of 2 fucking minutes. I mean, I didn't think Riddle would win the championship. I thought there was a decent chance of it, but I thought at the very least they would save the match for the Rumble, and if you're going to do it on Raw, give them more than 2 fucking minutes. I mean, what the hell? They couldn't have given them 10 minutes at least. It seems like 2 minutes was completely ridiculous. But anyway, they recall Lashley's win over Riddle and how this one was decisive. Riddle's win over Lashley last week was not. Lashley simply says that he's not worried about Riddle. And then they threaten to hurt R-Truth because he speaks up, and R-Truth is being his usual annoying self on this show. And then Sarah asks at the very end, does MVP have his sights set on gold? Because Alexander and Benjamin are the Raw Tag Team Champions. You have Bobby Lashley as the United States Champion. I don't think MVP is going for the WWE title, but it's not a stretch to say that he could be the 24/7 champion at some point. And honestly, it's a very good chance that he could be the champion at some point, just because he and Lashley attempted to rough up Truth at least 2 or 3 times during the show. MVP specifically got very angry at the end when Truth said something. He got pissed off at Truth, went up to him, threatened to beat him up. He grabbed him by the suit, told him to apologize to Bobby Lashley. He does make a comment that the U.S. Championship is everyone's in the Hurt Business and not just Lashley's. But I wouldn't be surprised, based off the altercation they had here, that Truth and MVP might face or feud, or who gives a fuck about the 24/7 title. But it would make every member of the group a champion, which would be cool. So anyway, this was a good episode of Raw Talk. I thought Sarah Schreiber did a good job of filling in for Charlie. She's not a natural host. You can kind of pick that up right away. But given the circumstances, I thought she did well. And if nothing else, it's a refreshing change of pace from Charlie Caruso, who I think sucks on the show. Not that she's a bad person or anything, but as a host for Raw Talk, it makes the show almost unbearable to watch. And Truth being on the show does not help, because I love R-Truth, but as a host, he sucks. He just does not take it seriously, and it's just the joke of a show. But I thought Garza played his role well. The Jax stuff was fine. And then I thought Lashley, I was going to say Riddle and Lashley, but Lashley and MVP had a, could you imagine if a wrestler's name was Rashley? How long is it until the New Day makes a joke about how Lashley, his nickname is like Rashley, because he has a rash or something fucking dumb like that. Whatever. But yeah, MVP and Lashley I thought were great on the show. So check it out right now, WWE Network Raw Talk for January 11th, 2021. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content, including hitting the bell button to be notified every time a new video goes up, including right after this one. We got 2 network and show videos today, between this and the review of Straight Up Steve Austin, which I will not wait to review. I might wait until Wednesdays to review it, but because we have an interview going up tomorrow morning and hashtag AskGSM tomorrow, I'll probably just put it up today. And that's with Luke Combs, the Season 2 premiere. That was also very good, so I'll get to that momentarily. Until then, guys, have a great one. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.